straightforward. In the earlier chapters, when we have started on 7 basic characteristics, we talked about trophic levels, energy levels going up, energy decreasing, trophic levels increasing, producers, and all these things that come in. Now, we will have to talk about selection, evolution, relationships, survival, and also adaptation. But this chapter here connects with you selection and also evolution together with survivors, and everything comes in together. And everything you've learned through for the first 3 parts is actually related with every single thing here. As I've shown you the other day, this is actually the Nile's crocodile, which is what you can find in Egypt. And there's the clover bird here. So there's something going on in between. Alright? This is what we call a symbiosis, an interaction between the two biotic factors here. The little birdie here is deciding to say, right, I'm going to eat up all the extra pieces which is stuck between the teeth. Because what happens with crocodiles here, they can actually grow their teeth. Not like human beings. If you have a permanent teeth and it drops out, you have to have the fillings, you have to put everything inside here. So this clover bird here is acting like a dentist. Acting like a dentist to remove all those pieces. Alright? I've mentioned so many times on biotic factors and also abiotic factors. But what does that actually mean? Right? Biotic factors, we all know. Interaction between living things. That's fine. What about abiotic? Non-living. Straightforward. These are straightforward definitions. But to see the correlation between the biotic and abiotic is very difficult. Right? Because one picture here, for example, the praying mantis, while you may see it as a biotic factor, you need to also consider how it's going to interact with something abiotic. Like, for example, if we look at the first 4 boxes on the left, prey, predator, mutualism, parasitism, commensalism, these are all biotic factors with competition and symbiosis as well. In fact, symbiosis is a word to describe mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. This 3 is symbiosis altogether. And we have to think, if you're coming to a new environment, how are you going to interact with non-living things, which is oxygen, salt pH, temperature? But let's just say if I'm going to throw you straight into the Antarctica, you will not be able to adapt to it. You need to have the proper clothing. You need to survive. Because if you're an excursion to Antarctica, which is crazy, because you won't find any life there, it's just near the ice. And maybe you can find a polar bear, That is just about it. It's so restricted. But the idea that you're trying to see is how these two go hand in hand. So the background of the praying mantis here is more like in the jungle area. Right? That's the habitat. That's the natural habitat. What is this niche of the praying mantis? Does anyone know what's the role of the praying mantis here? Sorry? Camouflage, yes, it's also trying to camouflage, but niche is more about the role they play in the particular environment. They can be the primary consumer, but don't forget, praying mantis are more carnivorous, so they prey and feed on insects. So they are actually carnivorous insects, all right? But whatever it may be, due to the fact that they are carnivorous, that is their role. They have to feed on something. So as you can see, when you go along the way, ecosystems, I can tell you frankly, it's also a very boring chapter. It's very dry. But the reason why I put pictures so that you make it colorful and you won't get dry. You'll get not dry. Anyway, it'll get wet. Thank you. I didn't want to say wet because it could mean differently, but anyway. anyway, those 2 factors that we see here have an interaction, and that's how you have to see. After this, what we're going to do, we're going to put into practice how you're going to write it down. You may know the facts, but writing it down is completely different. Alright, mutualism. The clownfish and also the coral reef. Very interesting character here. Because mutualism is what we call a process of I gain and you gain. Alright? It benefits both the host and also the organism. Now think about it. It's just fantastic here. I gain, you gain. So nothing is going to happen, we benefit from one another. Right? I benefit from students because you give me the proper feedback. You benefit from me because you gave your grades. So it's a one-to-one. We have to look at the coral reefs here. Coral reefs provide the protection for clownfishes. From what? Sorry? Predators. Good. predator. So you can see there is a biotic interaction between the clownfish and also its predators, prey and predator relationship. Now, what about the clownfish here? The algae loves to grow on the coral reefs, and that will dampen the coral reef growth. So what do? That's the source of food for the clownfish.
They eat
Yeah, they eat them. So I gain, you gain. There's nothing for him to lose. Next, commensalism. This is an interaction which is interesting because I gain something, but that person say, no, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't harm me. So this is an interaction that benefits the organism, but the host is unharmed. You do not harm that person. Alright? So in the first picture here, we have a buffalo and also a bird. Alright? The buffalo doesn't get anything with the bird hopping in it. Oh, it doesn't matter as long as you don't disturb me. Alright? But what the bird gains in this case, that it gains a mode of transport. Sometimes, being too tight flying. It also gains protection. Don't forget the horns here will protect the buffalo from any predators. And therefore the bird gets protected as well. So whatever it may be, this is their interaction. And guys, let's have a look at the back here. Alright? This is the field. So think about it, when you see a picture, a lot of things can come into your mind. Habitat. This is a community, alright? This is a species. This is an individual. What are the niche in the environment? There's so many things you can think of, and it's all linked just like a tree. And that is why I always forbid you from actually memorizing it, because there's no point memorizing it. That's the first picture here. The second picture, this is an orchid. And this is a big tree that you can see. Alright? Now orchids here, they undergo photosynthesis. Don't get me wrong that they are parasites. They are just, trying to sort of like, I'm just trying to gain that support. I just need that big tree for support. So what happens here in this case, while the orchid gets, its protection and a place to rest with the big tree is not affected because the orchids are able to photosynthesize. So everything that comes into place that you see has a relation, has a correlation. All you need to do here is identify which species is which, what sort of interaction is going on, what's the habitat, what's the niche that it plays in the ecosystem. That's what it needs to gain over here in commensalism. Okay? Now the next one is very diabolical. Have you guys seen this picture before? Right? This is known as the Rafflesia, found in the Borneo Islands, where my hometown is. Right? It is found in the jungles of Sabah and also Sarawak. It is actually a parasite. It may look beautiful, but you have to think about this. It's a carnivorous plant.
Put your hand in there.
Sorry?
Put your hand in that.
No, it won't, because it won't do anything. That will be the Venus flytrap and also the pitcher plant found in Borneo as well. This here, due to the foul stench, foul stench, right, that you find inside the flower, it attracts flies. It attracts all those unwanted, necessary, things that insects like to, be attracted to. It's like nectar for honeybees, put it that way. This here is the stench for flies. Right? But it's a good catch. If you put your hand inside there, it will break it off. No, it won't. Just joking. Alright? This is an interaction that causes the harm to the host, which is very bad. Parasites, not a very good thing for you to do. What happens here is this. It will suck up all the nutrients from the tree. And it will leave that plant dying. Or in other words, if the plant is about to die, it goes there and saps it up more. So let's just say, if an organism is killed, you kill it more. That is how it is with parasitism.
So is it attached to the tree?
It is attached to the tree. It is attached to the bark. So put it this way, the niche of this Rafflesia, or of this big plant over here, is basically a parasite. Right? But somehow, decaying and dying matters, it does not want it to go to the soil. It's very selfish. So it takes it up for himself. And that is what we call parasitism. Where it is found, think about the habitat, jungles, tropical rainforests, you name it and you got it. You can't find this in the Antarctica, can you? Alright? There's a correlation. Think. I don't have to say further for prey and predator. Prey is being chased out by predators. Okay? But there will be a time when the the prey will chase the predators instead of the predators chasing the prey. That will be evolution, survival. Think about it. Creative thinking and nonsensical as well. That will make the day. But put it this way, predators are much larger and the prey will be maybe a little bit smaller. You will find it very rare to have a large organism being the prey rather than the predator. But there is one which is I think I saw on I think Google the other day, between a weasel and a rabbit. Alright? Weasels are much more smaller, but because due to the nature of the fact that they are carnivorous, what they will do to the rabbit, they will actually biting it off, biting its flesh off, really bad. To the point that of course, the rabbit will die. But if you have a look at the picture, that will tell you a bit difference. Okay. Now, competition, very true. Wherever you go in the ecosystem, you will definitely find competition. Lions, hyenas, just for a gazelle here, or a deer, whatever it may be. They have to fight for survival. And that is when you will always hear the phrase, survival of the fittest. The fittest will survive. The strong will live. The weak will perish, whatever it may be. Not only just animals, plants as well. You look through your notes. This is the same diagram from the notes. Divide the first 3, 6, 9, 12. Divide the first 12 columns, the first three boxes here, the 3 columns, right? This is a mixture of those 2 plants. But one plant is suppressing the other. So there is a competition, not only for food availability, but it's also for space. And therefore, bigger plants will definitely overcome small plants. Okay? So I don't have to go further from here, but think about it this way. Whenever you have a new organism, coming into a new environment, adaptation has to take place. You have to adapt. It's like if you came to Adelaide High School when you were in year 8, you had to have a transition from year 7 to year 8. You were adapting to a secondary life as compared to a primary one. That is how things work in this case here. Another one that you have to think about in an ecosystem because it is so dynamic. Things change, all right? And so does the population, all right? And they compete for food, and of course, the change in number will occur due to these 4 factors: food, competition, diseases, and the biotic abiotic components. All right? This is how it is. It's a very famous question. This topic here is very famous. They will ask you this. What if the number of mice have decreased? It's no longer mice due to the fact that it's been attacked or it's been, rendered helpless because of the disease. What will this creature here do to the entire food web? What do you reckon? If there's no more mice, what will happen to the snake? Can anyone tell me? It will also decrease because, sorry?
It needs a bit of changes.
Yes, it will definitely be a bit changes. It will definitely lose weight. When it loses weight, it doesn't get the nutrients, it will die off because it's no food.
But they can get to eat other things.
It could eat other things, but I'm just saying, taking into consideration this food web, it can take other things as well. But you are definitely right. If there's no longer mice, you will look for something else. Very, very true. But of course, I'm just looking in this context only. Alright, but you have a good point there. We'll definitely look for other things as well. So you have to fight for survival in this case. Snakes will decrease. But what about the other animals here? Alright? Hawks will not be affected that much because they depend on the lizards, the grasshopper, and the rabbit. That's fine. But one which will benefit is actually the grass because the grass can actually grow more. And when the grass grows more, what happens to the grasshopper and the rabbits here in terms of its number?
They go up.
They go up as well. So if this goes up, the lizards and the hawks will also go up. So if you have heard the word of a chain reaction, this is what it is. A chain reaction from one stage to the other. Alright? So that's a big effect. Some of you might say, oh, this might increase, but don't forget, there is a need of balance. Because it's dynamic, it needs to increase, it needs to decrease. Okay? This will be a growth curve that you will see many, many times, even in microbiology as well. This is the standard growth curve that you see. So, as I've mentioned to you, always think about it, x-axis, y-axis. The time frame, how it's going to go, and the number. So if we start at 8 here, let's look at the number of individuals on the y-axis here. It's actually pretty small. So we can just assume that the organism is actually trying to adapt. The organism is just relatively new to the environment. So it needs to undergo reproduction. It passes off the strong traits to the weaker ones, not the weak ones, to the next generation. And from that, it goes on reproducing and reproducing and reproducing. And that is when you see in part B here, when things are trying to go up quite steadily, it's not a problem. All right? And so in this case here, you have abundant resources. Think about it this way. The species are interacting, there's lots of resources you can actually grow. But remember, things can also diminish because to a point is where at part C here, where you can see there's a plateau. We call this a plateau, and this is where the numbers have stabilized. I increase, one decreases. If this increase, that also decreases. So there is a balance, all right? Very different from part D. As soon as there's an interaction, there's competition, prey, predator, parasitism, whatever it may be, this section in part D here, there will be a slope. There will be a sharp decrease. As you can see from the line here, a sharp decrease going down. Therefore, this is indicating it could be a disease attacking. Or because resources have gone, haywire, there's not much left for it to survive on. So therefore, the number decreases. And then somehow, only the strongest will survive. And we pass on, whatever traits to the next generation so they can actually reproduce. And this is where, at this section here in part E, this is where organisms will start growing again. And the cycle will just go on. The curve will just going up, down, up, down. And that's how it is. But we're just only trying to magnify this from a bigger point of view. Okay? Any questions so far that you're thinking of? No? Okay. This is what I was trying to refer to, communities and also diversity on population size here. See the prey and the predator, mice and hawks. So it is just basic growing up. Let's have a look at this part here. Look at the red laser that I'm pointing here. The population of mice is very huge at this section here, and the population of hawks is just much lower. Does not mean the hawks does not exist. It is just that it's much lower in number. One is high, one is low. And once it starts hatching the mice and feeding on it as its prey, the mice will decrease, all right, and hawks will increase. But somehow, if you go down here, the mice has, hit the bottom bit, right? But somehow in between, don't forget, this is where the resources for the hawks get less, right? Because it's getting less, you won't have that much of interaction going on. Some of the hawks may die or they might fly off, Animals tend to migrate and immigrate, just like how human beings, some of them are not satisfied. I want to travel to America because I want to see the Statue of Liberty. I want to go and travel all around. So, people constantly want to go around due to the fact that they want to get more exposure, they want to get more things. Same goes for these guys here. They want to go in and out of a particular ecosystem due to the fact of resources. Does it make sense to most of you this time here? All good? All good? That's okay. Everybody's getting and thinking and talking at this point. That's okay. This is non-examinable. Alright, so don't have to worry so much about this. Just only to give you a brief outline. If you have a large species diversity index, and this species diversity index is to determine the diversity. Alright? It is only trying to tell you, if you have a large species diversity, the community is well established. No worries, no nothing, everything is good. But if you have a small species diversity, it's less established, and also one species will reign dominant. Okay? This is about it that you have to listen. I know it's very straightforward and very boring for ecosystems, but this is the part that we have to cover as much as we can. Yes?
Oh, sorry, just about the last slide. So with rats or
Yes.
mice, does it make any difference if they breed faster?
Sometimes it does as well. So if you're talking about the mice breeding quickly, alright, then you have definitely going to attract more hawks coming to the area. Or it could be eagles, or it could be other organisms, snakes as well. So with the hawks and the snakes, what happens if you want to fight for the mice? What are they trying to do? They're competition. Right? That is just that, but it's good. You're thinking out of the box. That is very good. All right. So guys, when we start on Monday, go back and have a read on your notes on the carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle again. Okay, because these two are very important cycles when it comes to recycling some of the nutrients. Okay, and guys, that's it. That's it for the notes. Because I don't want to go too long on this. We will have to definitely complete worksheets. We definitely have to complete what we have to do. All right.